someone brought up authenticity earlier. When I think of authenticity, I think of um, they want the human, not a script. So I'll pause it there. I was more
No,
just
no, no,
listening
no,
in
but
because I
no,
could
no, no,
just hop
Shara.
in.
Let's talk about that
Mm,
because we want the
what?
authentic person because there's so much
Hmm.
AI, so much tools out here for us to use. How important is it
Yeah.
to use the human self? Because, like you said, you started your podcast before even people was even thinking about taking the clips off of here and repurposing.
Yeah,
So
I
let's get
launched it
into it.
when Clubhouse first started the MP3 files. That was a couple of years back. I started recording my rooms. So every time someone would come and say, "Hey, man, I passed my exam from the test, from what you gave me. That's live feedback. That's live time testimony. Very powerful." So I would just put them up.
I,
At first, I will say that the podcast, I was one of those people. I was like, I ain't got time for no podcast. And my editor at the time, he's like, "Bruh, you have over 200 MP3 files. We could easily put that up on a podcast." I was like, "Okay, cool." I didn't know that it would turn into a money generating engine without officially monetizing it, but it did. But being authentic to me just means showing up and being consistent. And I love what someone said earlier about consistency because it does take consistency to build an audience, a community. On Clubhouse, I did it for 4 years. And then on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, the podcast, YouTube. At the time, I wiped my channel clean. I'm relaunching it in a different way. Um, it compounded itself by where I lived the most, even TikTok, Twitter.
Are you
At the
on
time,
Substack? Because I'm going to follow you.
Subdeck, I'm not. I think I am. I'm not sure.
Sarah, I did that
But
same thing. I wiped my YouTube. Wait, YouTube wiped my joint. I said, you know what? I'm going to put what I want on it now.
well, no. That's not what happened. So I had. I can tell this. So there was an issue with my. I end up wiping it because one, at 5 years, I'm relaunching in a different direction. And scaling and expanding our business, and I didn't want the same content. The person that I had doing the YouTube channel, he was good at designing, making cover stuff. He wasn't good at knowing the how the platform worked. So I just wiped it. I said, you know what? It's been 5 years. I'm going to go ahead and relaunch in a different direction the way I want to. The crazy thing is I still had my audience is still there because of TikTok and I go live there. A lot of my audience is like, shit, where's she at? And they'll go look for me on every other platform if I go live on TikTok, which I do only once a week. So the trust that I have with my audience now, like I literally made over 6 figures last year and I didn't show up on social media at all. And the reason why I can tell you, I think I told Stack the other day, I made 60 when TikTok went down, I made over 60K in 1 month.
yeah, you was telling me that. That shit was
Yeah, and the
crazy,
reason
Shara.
and that's and the reason I was able to do that was
Not one
because
year,
I
one
had
month,
already
y'all. Not 1 year,
1 month,
1 month. Okay,
one
just to
month,
be clear, one
and
month,
I have a
1 month.
not one
That's
year.
all I had. So the reason I was able to do that because I was consistent at
1 month.
with my content. And I'm not saying consistency is easy. It's not. Showing up on 6 or 7 different platforms before they even had auto posting, all of that. This is 2020, 2019, 2020 that I was doing this. It was painful before AI came along, but I burned out consistently showing up every day, planning content, writing it before you even had, AI scripts. I did all of that,
Sarah.
consistently engaging on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. It took a lot, but what ended up happening, I know someone called my name, but I want to make this short. The reason why I was able to make that income at the time is because my content was still living on other platforms and people would go back and look at my old stuff. So when TikTok went down for that short period that it did, people were freaking out. It's like, oh man, she's not there. So where can I find her? I already have my links on TikTok, so they would go find me on other platforms, and which grew them at the same time. So, it might have been part of the FOMO, but the other part was that because I had consistently showed up time and time again every day over 4.5, 5 years, my community trusted me enough to know that, I need her help. So it was one of those things that it's hard to be consistent, but I was. And when I disappeared for almost a whole year and still made over 250K, in total for that year was because I had consistently showed up from 5 years from the time that I started in the beginning. It wasn't easy, but content still lives, even if you stop. And I did for a time. I haven't posted consistently since I think last year, and I'm still making 20, 30K months. I'm still doing just fine. But it's because I still have an audience on different platforms, and I've done it over time. Again, it's consistency is important, but also knowing what its consistency look like to you. That's going to be just as important, because posting every day is not going to do it. Being able to make sure you know what your audience pain points are, knowing what they're really struggling with, and using those posts as landing pages, as advertisement. That's why I haven't done paid ads. Never had to. So I'll pause it there, but someone just called my name, so I'll shut
Well,
up.
come on. Who
Sorry.
called Shara's name? Who got a question for Shara so we can continue this? If you guys are just now joining, we're in the Influx Entrepreneur Club. If you guys can click the top and please cash in the pink tickets, and also follow Hector, because he allowed Stack Pack to come in here and pop my shit today. So I appreciate you, Hector, very much, brother. And make sure you follow Hector and give him all his flowers, because he could have been doing anything else, but he came in here and allowed us to open up the keys. Shout out to Hector. He's been supporting me since day one, all the way damn 4 years, 5 years now, ever since I was in the XP, all the way to the Media Mentors, down to damn Gender Wars. He popped his head up in there. So appreciate you, Hector. Make sure you guys are following him. And let's kind of get back to the conversation. We're talking about podcasts, media, marketing, and we're also streaming live to YouTube. So Hopper, would you like to come in? I see you on your mic. I'm mic'd. Would you like to come in?
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother. Over to you.
I apologize, my audio wasn't working earlier, but my question for Shara is, because of her audience, as she had educational content, did it come across well? Did you have low energy, which was a topic that we addressed earlier, for your authenticity? I mean, your voice is very emotive, so don't see very low energy. But for my audience, which is one of the podcast formats that I wanted to do, was for software developers, and they tend to be more objective. We imagine ourselves to be more objective and more logical, although humans are just irrational regardless. But they tend not to like salesy pitches. They don't like anything that they consider to be inauthentic. So my question was, my uh, uh, mindset was that it would be more, if I was lower energy and more academic, it would reach the audience better. But I don't know for sure. So my question was does do you have lower energy for your audience, or do you have, are you as expressive as you are now?
I'm the same all the way around. Don't change. I'm pretty high energy. I will say that. If I'm in teaching mode, I am high energy. But I think what matters more with your audience is knowing how to reach them, or what's their language. Do you know their pain points? Do you talk to them off of that? Do you have consultation? I always go back to that. I talked to Stack about that yesterday. The other reason that I don't do paid ads is they turn into repurposed content over platforms. So I would ask you to do a little bit more of acting. It was pretty easy because the pain points that they had, I lived them. So I couldn't pass my board exams. I focused on telling that story. I no longer have to now at 5 years. When I first started, I used my story. I didn't have results back then. So I used my story up front. Now my results pretty much at 5 years speak for itself, because I'm a social media proof queen when it comes to my content. People can go anywhere and hear the impact of what I leave with my clients yelling, saying they passed their exam, or leaving me messages. They can hear all of that. So for you, my friend, I would ask, do you know the pain points of your audience, and what will keep their attention? At the same time, do you own your voice in a way to reach them?
Oh, fuck me, nigga.
Somebody want to take that person out.
Yeah, it's okay. It's just trolls coming up.
Trolls, yeah. That's
be better. You're on a stage full of professionals who are out here who are doing the damn deal. If you're gonna troll, I'm gonna need you to bring it. Be funny, okay? That was not good. I'm disappointed in you.
That was a bad troll. Let's get back to the combo, though.
Hillary's on it.
Hillary's going to get us.
Yeah, that's what I would say. For me, I did a lot of market research, and I still do it because the market changes. A lot of people only do market research just once. Don't stop, because with the economy being the way it is, you need to know how your buyer behaviors change, and that's where you should live. For me, my content does change, but it changes based on where my people are. I can diversify my product line based on knowing what they're struggling with now, because what they were struggling with a year ago is not the same. 2-3 years ago, it's not the same. So I would encourage you also, the real answer needs to come from them. Even if you want to do a survey or just doing a consult, people love talking about what they're struggling with if they feel that you can help them. That just a short conversation is gold. That's content, that's email marketing, that's repurpose against entire platforms. That's podcast content right there. So I would encourage you to see if you can find a way to talk to them, your audience, about their pain points and what they're looking for, and build your podcast around that. Don't change your voice of who you are. If you're low monotone, that's fine. If you're high energy, that's fine. They're coming to you for whatever reason they're coming to you for, but let it be your voice.
Shar, I'm gonna give you a little bit of pushback right there. The low monotone, it scares us off a little bit. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. If you're dead on that podcast, me and AJ was talking about it earlier, and all of us in here.
What, low monotone?
That low monotone, no energy. Well, it's not gonna have anyone listen to the show.
Well, maybe
Valerie.
Maybe not low monotone. Maybe that's another way I could say it. But be you is basically what I'm saying. If you're not someone like me, I'm high energy. I have ADHD. I'm like, I get excited about what I do, and that's what also my passion. People, they come to me for that. I'm not boring, but at the same time, if you're not someone that's energetic, you got to find another way in. So maybe low monotone is the one I'm looking for, but you don't want to be somebody that you're not. Right.
Well, grab yourself a good co-host. Exactly. That's the exact
but Hillary, didn't we talk about that?
That's a good one, Hillary.
But Shara, we talked about that earlier. Can we kind of bring that back around to Hillary? How important is it to have important co-hosts on your podcast? Because having the right person on the wrong person on the show can the views can go down. It'll be a wrap for you. Maybe you'll get some of the stuff taken away.
Me and Char, look, we are one and the same. But could you imagine having us two in a room together for an hour? Nobody would be able to catch up.
Yeah, we would be just cackling. But no, we probably got to do something together now. You just said it. But no, you can feed off each other. I have had people on the podcast, especially when I used to do the Clubhouse recording rooms. I used to have a co-host with me, and we would go back and forth. It was like magic because we had the same type of energy, and people just couldn't get enough of that. So I love, Hillary, that you talked about the co-hosting, because if you have somebody that's not as energetic, it's got to balance out some type of way. So
I had a question for you. There's two questions. One, did you have did you have good analytics and metrics? And then also with your editing for the shows, because Clubhouse can get rough. What was your editing style or strategy that worked for you?
Oh, I love delegation. I had a social media manager that would clip it for me, but the thing is, I would tell him what he was my graphic designer. Also, I say, hey, this is timestamp of what I need to clip. I would send them the titles and descriptions. I had a couple different tools that would do it for me. Cast Magic. Whenever I had an MP3 file that I would download from Clubhouse, I would have a prompt specifically for that social media to him and say, hey, here, do something with it, or he might change it to fit the platform that I was on. If it was podcasting, I would tell him where to clip. This was just me. I know other people have podcast people that do all that stuff for them, but I like to have control over how my audience perceives my content. Mm-hmm. So he would do that part for me automatically. I'm not a podcast editor. I just hire people to do it for me, bro.
Oh no, that was interesting.
I think I don't have time for none of that. Nope.
Yeah, no, that's a serious thing. Just because of the content, even though my name is Chef.
Nice to meet you, Chef.
Nice to meet you, and I do cook, and I am a chef, but I'm also an avid programmer and trader. So it's kind of a weird hodgepodge of kind of transforming my existing brand that I'm known by with my name into something that's, kind of like, what that should fit the standard, I guess, of, that whole process. And then also when it comes to Clubhouse, just because of the type of conversations that individuals may or may not try to, what's the word? I don't know. They have a lot of expletives, right?
Yeah.
So, so thank you very much for answering those questions for me.
Zach has an excellent strategy that he uses with people that troll, like we had earlier. But as far as very passionate, argumentative audience members, Stack, you want to share what that is?
Like a passionate audience. Remember, what do you mean by that, Hopper? Can you explain? Can you ask that question a little bit better?
When they start getting argumentative and not quite disruptive, but they're starting to raise the temperature of the room.
Yeah, I control it. You wrap it back around. You make sure you keep control of the room. I was talking about that yesterday when Hector was in here. You don't let it get too out of control. You still keep control of your space. You let them banter a little tiny bit, but you don't let it get too out of control where you don't get back to the topic. So letting it get out of control can mess up the whole show, can mess up the whole thing, can mess up the whole entire program. And now the views are going down and now no one wants to listen to it. So having it on track, having a goal. Like, yeah, you can let people argue, you can let people go back and forth a little bit, but if we're not getting to the end goal and we're just stuck at this argument, people are going to start leaving. You understand? So not letting it go on for too long, Hupper. Like, okay, we hear you. Oh, sounds like bullshit. You got to go. You understand? Like that type of vibe. Yeah,
what do you do when it's your guest and there's a call-in audience member or anything like that goes after your guest? Where do you draw the line of letting someone speak and cutting them off immediately because you need to protect your guests? So where do you stand on that?
There's true. Who else wants to chime in? DWI, you want to chime in on that for me, bro? I'm just taking a call in the background. But DWI and John, can y'all please take that question and then I'll come in with some gems too. Hector, I'll be right back, fool. Let's go.
So I pretty much pivot the conversation. And so if they say something weird or something that doesn't go onto it, I'll just come up with something to say, all right, well, what do you think about this then? Like, just to take it wherever they was trying to go, like, because you are in control. Like, it's almost like driving a car and you ain't gonna let somebody reach over and grab the steering wheel. And that's what they do in Clubhouse. They'll just grab the whole steering wheel and spin it around. Like,
come on, DWI, wake it up.
So I like to, I'm driving, I'm going to ask you the question, and if you want to divert and go down this deep rabbit hole, I'm going to say, all right, well, that was cool, but they want to keep telling something, but they still on your show, so you still have to, like, be able to spin it. And that takes some practice of doing it, but it's still, you still have to do it, or it's going to be a train wreck for a long time. And then if you have to edit that out, you're going to lose a lot of your content. So you want to fail fast. Like, go through the train crash and then walk away, still be able to walk. Is how I figure it out. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, very quickly, I learned this in commercial radio. It's just because you call a radio station doesn't mean you're going to be played on air.
True. Very, very true.
It's their station. It's your show. You are in control of your show, just like the Clubhouse rooms. If it's your room and someone disrespects you, they're in your living room calling you all kinds of names outside of their mouth. They gotta go. The story. I throw them out like the bums they are.
John, I do that. I didn't want to get too crazy in here because you know how gender wars get. But we kick them out to the fucking curb. We kick them out to the fucking curb. We kick them out to the fucking curb.
Don't you hate something about the Clubhouse experience where people will have a good conversation going on and then two people get into it and it's like, send them to the Galazio room 112 with the players go. Get them out of here.
Because we got something going on here. So it's like when it's the show.
Scared to hit the button.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
Exactly. I have John's attitude. You listen to John. That's how I feel. Kick him out, just like how John said. But it's a little bit worse than that, John. A little bit more worse than. But yeah, right there. That's how I feel because people will come around and mess up the whole operation. If we're running a show and we're letting you do something, you don't come up here and be disrespectful and then plummet the whole show. We let it have fun, but then once it becomes disrespectful or you start attacking my co-host or stuff like that, that's when we it's a no-no. And you know what else is real cool about my club? There's no doxing, there's no exposing, there's no none of that, or you will be banned for life. So a lot of people, who wants to get banned from something that's, one of the hottest relationship clubs on Clubhouse? Who would want to get banned from something like that, right? You would want to come in and talk about love.
You let everybody have the opportunity to, regardless of age, gender, sex, race, where they're from, even what language they speak. You let everyone have their moment on stage, and you let everybody speak. And that's something that they don't seem to have a lot of anymore. It seems like people are really trying to divide things. I'm talking down to the tiniest little niche of things, trying to find their own corners and whatnot. And the fact that you open it up for everyone makes it one of it's a go-to. It's an instant. If I sign on and I see that you got a room open, no hesitation. That's where I'm at.
Nah, I appreciate you, Hillary, because it's always love and it's always support. And that's what I want to talk about when it comes to media marketing and podcasting. Do you guys feel like support is important? Let's talk about it, because some people just jump out and think they're going to be viral overnight. And I kind of want to bring this conversation back. What about support? Shara, can we please jump into support?
Vital.
Thank you very much. Let's go.
That is no. No one, I always say that someone has to hold the ladder while you climb it. You can't do both. I think it's important that people understand that we all need each other. And I think it was Hillary, somebody said it earlier, collaboration is key, but also understanding that we're all creators, we're all business owners, we're trying to do the same thing, but we're just in different lanes. I think it's important to know that when you launch, even for me, when I launched my podcast, I needed someone to say, hey, get out your thoughts. You need to go ahead and do this. I have a very small team of people that I work with, and they are my rock. I don't have many. I have a very small, I can count on one hand, but having people that you can count on, that when you are in your head about things, before you even, create content, you're in trouble. And for me, if I would have stayed with that thought, I wouldn't be here with you guys. I wouldn't have started. Listen to me. That was 2022. And that all needs support at different stages of our journey. I think that's a no-brainer. Where people bring strength, you are. We all advisors, different folks in different platforms, avenues help me, even paying them for their expertise, because I know that I don't know everything. So I need to find people that know more, that can help me, but I'm also going to make sure I compensate for their time. Being very clear on what that collaboration looks like. What are you getting out of it? What am I as official LinkedIn advisor? Or they saw that I had a brand that was doing well, or a business that was doing well. That's where I think you need to be very, very clear on what that support looks like. It's one thing to be supportive, rooting for you either. We all know that.
Nah, let's talk about that.
Waiting for you
Shara, let's talk about it.
And believe, I've had it happen. So somebody is waiting for you to fail. Not everybody's going to have your best interest at heart. I've had that happen to me over the years.
And it's usually the person closest to you.
Oh, girl, talk about it. I just went through something. I just went through something like that.
Come on, yes. Shara, talk about it.
Yes, I just went through something. Having someone that I trusted try to dismantle my brand with threats and extortion. Oh, yeah, it'll go steep, believe me.
And when money comes into play, people change. Girl, you think you know somebody?
Yep, girl, that's exactly where I'm going. What I will say, because I don't want to, bring that type of energy back up for me, because I just went through something a couple of days ago. What I will say is be careful. Be very careful who you let into your world. Even those people that are close to you, because not everybody's going to have your best interest at heart. No one's going to care about your business more than you. And that is bottom line. I don't care if you have a small team around you. They are invested in your business, but they're also getting paid to do a job.
One of the things I want to say on before you go on, not on the negative note, but if you mentioned a few minutes ago how there were people when you first started off that were able to help you. I want anybody in the room, if you are thinking about doing a podcast, even if you already have one that's perfectly established, look at each person in this room. Every single, to my knowledge, I think everybody up here has either been on or has a podcast or has at one time had a podcast. These are people who have already paved the way. When I say look, the millions and millions of hours collectively that we have put in on all of this, use that. Look at the people in this room. We are more than willing to help you if you come talk. You don't have to go it alone. But also, she brought up a very good point, which is compensate people for their time. If you can't offer them something, no, I mean, teaching and helping and mentoring and all that, that's awesome. Collaborating, awesome. But if I had to choose between Shara, who just said, hey, I will compensate Hillary for her time, I know she's busy, versus somebody, Joe Bob over here who says, hey, Hillary, can you come over here and help me edit this? And can you also get me these guests? And also, can you do this? And hey, also, I'd like to use your contact with this person so that I can get them on. Okay, calm down. I got to go talk to Shara real quick. Sorry. Because people that respect your time. That's important. So reach out to the people on this stage that are in this audience. These are the people you want to talk to because they're doing the damn deal. And I collaborate with a lot of people from this app. Most of the people are either from my LinkedIn or from this app. And like I said, we're launching that new podcast on the 22nd. And there's so many people on here I would love to have as guests on there. So make sure that you're liking, adding, and talking to people after. Follow up, because these are your people right here. Follow up.
That's important, that conversation about following up, right? Because it's like doing a podcast show. You can do one with someone, but if you didn't follow up and keep that connection, do you think you're going to get a second interview if that first one did good? So following up with that connection, I feel like that's a very important. Thank you for bringing that up, Hillary, because it's like, yeah, we could have crushed it on the podcast, but if you try to invite that person over again and you haven't built a rapport with the person, you think they're going to come back on your show again? It's like it's like building a dead connection. You came on this podcast show once, but we don't have anything else, we don't speak about anything else. You left dead space. So how important is the follow up? Who else wants to follow up after Hillary and talk about that? The follow up and these connections on these.
I will say the first time you and I talked, we talked on here, and then we immediately had a consult call. And within, I think it was maybe within an hour, you already had sent me an email, a text message, and you're locked in on my phone. And I mean, I literally, like, you were my go-to guy, my Dallas guy. I knew who to go to for this, that, and the other when I had somebody I needed to suggest to, because you followed through and you followed up afterwards, right afterward.
And that's what it's about. Can we get into the informative piece, Victoria? Or if you want to, you can chime into anything, but I was going to get into the informative part next. What's up, Victoria? You want to come in? You want to talk about anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to just say that this conversation is great and a lot of nuggets.
Wow, Stack Pack, you shocked me.
And unfortunately, I'm not able to write anything down, but I highly appreciate the.
Don't worry, it'll be on the podcast show, Victoria. Don't worry about it.
Right, but I wanted to say, as the young lady was talking about, and y'all had mentioned this quite earlier, that I didn't get a chance to speak on, is the partnership. And collaboration. When you're collaborating with people, we may all think we may know someone, but we really got to use discernment, because our business is our babies. These platforms that y'all created and y'all took time to build, those are your babies. Whether it came as a hobby and it turned into a career, but it started off with a thought. It was your thought. And since it was planted in your heart with something to do, so that is something that we all, I thank you, sister, for sharing a little bit of your story, that even still with business, that we have to discern who we're doing business and doing collaborations with. And the follow-up is very, very important, because I appreciated the fact that I was reached out to, and we instantly, it was, it wasn't okay. It was a cat and chase, cat and mouse chase. Sorry about that. But that was very important for me in moving forward. So you all for everything that y'all sharing, and y'all dropping great nuggets, and I'm looking forward to just applying what I've learned today and moving forward with my podcast. So thank you, Stacks and Hillary and Valerie that has spoken earlier, and Shara. I think I pronounced your name correctly.
Where you been? I ain't speak to you since last time we was in that room that night. You gave me some good beauty advice. You've been gone. But nice to see you again, Victoria.
And that's what it's all about. Does anybody else wants to jump in? I appreciate you, Victoria and Shari, everybody that's been jumping in. Ethan, welcome to the stage. T, Harwood. Who else wants to chime in about podcast, media, marketing? Do you guys have any gems for us or anything that you want to ask on the stage?
I wanted to ask you, because you said something, Stack, about follow-up. I wanted to know, how do you personally follow up after a guest on the show, or like what ways in which have you like realized that, oh, this actually works with me to follow up in this way with, say, guests in general, or a particular guest?
I would have to see the reactions from the crowd. So if somebody listens to the episode and we're getting a lot of downloads or a lot of plays or a lot of traction on that episode, then I would know if that's a right fit for that person to keep coming on and being consistent. But if they want to come on, promote their brand, come on, we have plenty of slots for that. But if I feel like it's a right fit, the traffic will ramp up or their episodes will get a lot of traction, and I'll see if that would be a great fit for the person to either make a series or come on again, or if they got some type of spark going on. So that was a great question, T. I usually look
So
at
it's just
what they
about
got.
the metrics. It's just purely the metrics you focus on.
Yep.
Okay.
I see what's going on with my audience, how it's reacting with my crowd. If my crowd don't like you, you're not coming back. Because it got to align. We talked about alignment a little bit earlier, but if you're not aligned with my crowd and it's not, and they don't like you and they're like, oh my God, don't bring that person back, and nobody's listening to it, why bring it on? It's only going to hurt the podcast.
I said, repeat that again. Your format and your show is the most important thing. Do not water it down. I'd love for you to repeat that.
Say that one more time, John. Like, what do you mean?
Stack, what's good, Stack?
What's going on, brother? What's going on, Cash?
Please repeat
This
that.
where they give out like podcast advice.
Cash, no trolling, brother. I'll see you next time, please. Okay? No trolling on this one. Not
I
on
ain't
this one.
trolling.
Okay, but calm down. Go ahead, John. Over to you, brother.
I'll wait.
Yep, go ahead, John. Over to you.
I would just say this: protect your brand, your show, your pod. Do not bring someone on that's going to discolor or talk about something else. Just don't do it. Protect your brand.
It's about being the protection of the brand, because it's like if you have someone that comes on that's not in alignment with your brand, it's going to only mess the numbers up. And it's about metrics. If I see people really reacting or like, yeah, bring John back on or bring Valerie back on, that is the thing that helps the most, is if I can see other people telling me to bring you back on. If I see people telling me no, then that's a red flag. Don't bring the person back on. I'm not going to want to bring the person back on at all. Now, let's talk about this real quick. Valerie, if you don't mind, I want you to come in. But how do you guys feel about music on like the reels and the podcasts and stuff? Do you guys feel like that's important, and does that make you go viral, like the music choice? Valerie, over to you, Queen, please, and then we'll just continue to build on this conversation. If you guys want to come up, please ping the room, and that way we can have a great conversation. Valerie, over to you. Thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love how you talking about this subject, because music is so important. Okay. It goes with the vibe. People will understand what you're talking about. Like, people go look at my stories and I put music for a reason. Like, say if I'm just